chess adoptions. You love them. It's what happens when you beat someone 10 times in a row with the same time control. And this is what happens today. Last time we adopted the Chess Crusader, a 1200 elo player that makes educational videos on YouTube. We're pretty good friends. And today is none other than Veya Lin, a Twitch streamer that plays chess and is 1400 on Rapid and 1100 on Blitz and has a pretty good following. And I found her randomly on Twitch when I was scrolling like crazy. Channel in the description always. I'm not going to put your profile picture on the video because I'm not sure if YouTube will cite this as a community guideline. I'm not risking it. Anyway, shout out to her. And if you're wondering how these videos are made, it's if I just randomly scroll on Twitch and I happen to find a YouTuber that plays chess and they think they're better than they actually are, I'm here to disprove them and make them my child. So yeah, shout out to Veya, and shout out to her for being my 5th chess child next to Siri, Kulbasar, and Führer, Chess Crusader, and now her. And let's begin with the video. Shout out to Veya. Let's go ahead and start the 5th adoption match. Let's begin the adoption match with Veya. We have a Catalan, and we did play a lot of the Catalan in this match. Spoiler alert, I always won. In this line, where she just doesn't take my pawn, I go for this queen b3 attack, forcing one of these 4 responses with like b6, b5, queen c7, queen b6. I force one of these. We have b6, which is just not of the greatest. There's this move, but she just goes here, and then there's nothing. So bishop g5, trying to go to blunt the dark square bishop. You've seen this before. And if you haven't seen this before and you're new to the channel, welcome. You go here, e3, and the dark square bishop simply just doesn't, have any sort of play and access to my position. That's the whole concept. Bishop e4. We reinforce the knight, and now she plays an inaccurate response, knight d7, which allows me to re-win the bishop pair, and knight to d2, and that pawn simply just falls and perishes. So for the first game, that's pretty good. And bishop takes e4, and another fork, which is already pretty good. And if you're wondering why I'm keeping it quiet, is because it's 12 a.m. and there's a lot of children singing Christmas carols, and I really don't want to interrupt the session, so I'm going to try to keep it low. Not because I hate Christmas, because I just don't want to get interrupted. Rook d8. I'll still keep the comedic effect though. Bishop g2, just going back. I don't know why I did this. I could have always just went here, put pressure on the knight. But fine, bishop g2, castles knight f3. Trying to hop back into the action with a knight, and c5. Now c5, we take a free pawn, and we take another pawn. Yes, the dark square bishop has been slightly liberated, but unfortunately for Veya, it has simply no use. And after this, queen g5, and we just simply get another pawn. I like how the engine just simply argues that taking a free pawn is bad. Sorry, it's not. I'm up 3 pawns, and after b3 here with simply threatening another fork, Veya falls for the 3rd fork, and not actually falls for a fork, she also gives away a rook for a bishop. Now, if you're given 2 rooks via a fork or a simple capture in this position, what would you choose? The fork, because the bishop is a far better piece, right? Especially in the Catalan, the bishop is simply just a god piece, and that's exactly what happens. And rook a to c1, and simply just conversion. And Veya just here runs out of time, also loses the bishop in the move, and just not a good time. Not a good time. First game, a success. Let's go to the next one. Okay, for the second game, we're blessed with Catalan. Again, we actually do play Catalan, but this time she plays g6, which is a line that I don't usually see a lot. And yeah, we're going to play against this. Again, same stuff. Not even thinking. I'm playing my stuff. That's a good part about the Catalan, is because there's a lot of stuff to think about if you're not going for like the super theory and shit like this. And you do get like some very easy moves right off the bat. Even in the accepted lines, the stuff is pretty easy to play with. h6, we take this, and now e3, that bishop simply has no play once again. Castles, and I would consider this. Both moves are fine according to the engine, but honestly, in the long run, it's better to go knight bd2, because these knights like this have just much more play than putting a knight like this in the Catalan. In other openings, you can put them any way you want. Knight d7, and once again, she does lose her pawn to this. And after this, we go back and for the funnies. And a slight reroute of the queen, losing a bit of time, but it's fine. The ancient argues is better for white, but also black has some chance because I wasted 2 moves moving the queen. But there's nothing after bishop c4, and knight to c5 was simply just, yeah, she did just fully hang a knight there. Her idea was taking, and she would win a free queen, but forgot that I can just, do this. The knights do go backwards, and we trade down literally every single piece. And in this move, Veja played a move and resigned. That's pretty boss. That's pretty much signifies just when people are just done with you, playing the game. So yeah, pretty excited. I got myself the first resigning on your turn type of game. But yeah, let's go to the next one. And for the third game, we're going to see a Sicilian, and trust me when I say this, this will be the last time we'll see a Sicilian in this match. You'll see a different opening, because of just how risky this one got. We have classic little con Sicilian stuff, nothing to really talk about, we simply just go forward. The setup is putting the knights like this, the bishop, the queen to support against d5, and then b5 or b6 to go with the bishop on b7. Queen d2. b5, there it is, and bishop b7. Simply, I'm just not even thinking at this point, but now the game is going to get really wild on this move. After knight goes to g3, the best move according to the computer is this for some reason, because if I get taken, I take like this, and we form a bind on the d4 square, and we could reroute a knight like, we could castle and reroute somehow a knight to put into the square. Unfortunately, I go e5. This is just not great, because now this bishop suddenly gets some scope, and this allows some play if I go to the king side. And I have to go to the king side, otherwise I'm just kind of doomed, right? Yeah, now it's +2 for Veja. It's this very good old known sack here, and I can't even take it, because guess what? If you have more pieces than attackers, you're dead. If you have more attackers than defenders, you're kind of dead here. And I have like 3 pieces on the defense, but they're not doing anything. That bishop is dead. I have to give it up and give up a rook for it. It's not a great position, really, and we're dead. If she found that, if she spent like a minute to find this, the adoption streak would be over right there. Knight f5. Rook c to e8. Again, the tactic is there. It's even better now because everything is more clogged. But it does get it does not get spotted. I don't know what happened there. It does not get spotted and loses their square bishop, which means he will not have this tactic for the remaining of the game. And after that, god damn it, can't even go a video without coughing like a 60-year-old man. b3, and simply we just get all the tempo. We win a rook through a discovery check. When pawns move, you should be wary of what opens and what closes. Fun fact, that's the top engine move. And simply forcing her, not forcing her, but tempting her to take a very much a free pawn. She does do it, and we trade the queens for it. And then here, and then here, and then here. I couldn't have taken the pawn because it's defended thrice. And knight goes here, we go here, and simply converting, getting knights, getting pawns, up a rook, and up some pawns as well, and up another rook again, and she just resigns. She couldn't take enough. She tried to flag me, didn't work. And yeah, let's go to the next game, and hopefully I will not see Sicilian like this again. Alright, for the fourth game, we have d4, e6. Again, same stuff. Catalan, what do you expect? Now we actually have an actual Catalan. We do have a Catalan this time. This is how the Catalan is kind of played. I do like to... Knight f3 is the way you start it, and then g3. But I like to go g3 first. in like these positions. Uh, the moves are interchangeable. Doesn't matter. Like here, right away, it's the closed Catalan, and as it does take, it's the open Catalan, like with knight of 3, and let's say like bishop e7. Yeah, this is the open Catalan. This is the moves are interchangeable. You can play them any order you like, as long as they make sense. Bishop b4 checks. He's playing the Nimzo Indian against the Catalan, and if you see a Catalan against the Nimzo Indian, you should be focused on playing b6. You should be focused on playing b6, and bishop b7, and I don't know, d5 and c5. I've been playing the Nimzo myself, and every time you see, and again, if you see like d4, you should not be starting with e6. You should be starting with knight f6. And that way you can force like this. And if you see g3, that's the Catalan. If you see knight f3, that's going to go to a Catalan, go b6. And now you're in the Queen's Indian. So yeah, Valia, if you're watching this and you want to perfect your Nimzo Indian, play it on a proper, move order. Because the Catalan can get really good. And in this line, we do trade the dark square bishops on our own terms like this. And we set up this nice little e3 bind and nice little positional flair, which I'm really a fan of. I'm really a fan of positional chess. And castles, rook c1, and the knight goes to f3, and bishop a6, and castles, and it's pretty much fine here. 8-6 for some reason, and rook f to d1. All those moves make sense. Now d takes, we take with the knight, and hopping here. The reason why I moved my rook is because eventually... the reason I moved my rook like here is because eventually there would be some serious pressure being put on my knight, and it just wouldn't be able to move, and then it would probably be won via a pin with the bishop to the bishop pinning the knight to the rook. Can't speak English. Meanwhile, I have a proficiency at it. D takes c4, knight takes c4, knight e4, and this simply gives away this square, which attacks the knight, forces this, and probably straight up the winning of the knight, and probably straight up the winning of a pawn. So yeah, knight fd2, straight up this. It's still pretty good, but she can take, and you really don't want this because your queen is hanging, so you would have to probably take with the rook or the knight. Alright, instead of that, bishop b7, loses the knight straight up. I should have taken with the knight, but it would have probably been taking... After I move the knight, the bishop would be taken anyway, so we straight up did this. Knight takes c4, f5, and here, and I probably should have planted my knight there. I don't know why I got scared and I went here. But yeah, queen g5 and queen c2, slight little, trying to, reinforce the king a little bit. f4, trying to go for it, but there's simply nothing after knight f3, knight e5, and knight f3 again. Wanting the repetition, she tried to play this, not this, but she ran out of time, and I win the game, and I win the 4th game, and yeah, very comfortable game again. There was nothing, sorry about that. I can't review the game. I already spent my review on a rapid game today, so I can't do it. Yeah, I would love to see how I played. Anyway, next game. Alright, for the 5th game, 5 games left, we have e4, and something that I've been playing a lot once again, it's the Friends. The Friends defense. It's been getting a lot of hate, but actually it's a pretty flexible opening. I'd say it has some good lines, and also you play knight f3, which, would probably force me in some weird d5 line. I play the Sicilian, I switch it back to this, and expecting people... Sometimes people just don't know how to play Sicilian, to play some bullshit like this. So that's another good thing. So yeah, the Friends and the Sicilian do go a little bit together, like this, like after a knight of 3, you could go here. After a knight to c3, you also could go here and go back to a close Sicilian. And after c3, you could also just force yourself to an open Sicilian, but no one does that. That's stupid. So yeah. And also, I've been playing a lot of the Friends recently, and it's a little bit safer approach. And most of the time, I do see the exchange Friends, and that's how I beat Anne Fear, the third chess child. I had a lot of experience with this Friends, exchange Friends positions, and that will just lead me into these. So yeah, c4. Vega plays the Steiner variation, which had huge prep against it, And the moves are d5, takes, e5. And after this, you want to go c5, knight to c6, and getting the bishops out. Instead, I go knight to c6, because actually what I expected in my prep before this was takes and knight f6. This is the theory line, the grandmaster line. I think that's the grandmaster line. I don't know, I really forgot. But yeah, this is how the top engine line is played. Knight to c3, taking the pawn, and you getting attacked, and you going backwards like this, and the knight goes here. That's how the supposed theory is supposed to be played. And like d4 and castles and shit like this, that's how it's supposed to be played. And queen a4 is not, it's not a prep there. But yeah. So he plays e5, which I forgot and was the only line I did not study. And I went knight to c6, which is already incorrect. You should be going c5. Knight to c6 mixed up my preparation, and d4. So we kind of have, you could call this a friend's exchange. Bishop b4 check, bishop d2, and, simple trades, because, in this exchange for structures and advance, this is kind of a mixture of the two. I have a bit of experience already, so I can just play the moves fast. Like h6 is just a preventive move of knight g5, which could be a problem. So yeah, another knight goes to e7, and we go a6, and b5 going aggressive. And here, simple stuff. I'm not even thinking. I'm just playing moves. And castles and bishop f5. There we go. We trade off the bishops as well. Bishop plus middle game. We have knights. And the queen goes to g4, attacking the pawn. Vega does not defend it. In fact, she does not defend it. She instead attacks it and forgets that knight takes d4 is a threat, and forces knight takes. And after this, we simply don't take here. That's wrong. You actually go here. And exactly what happens in the game. We take. And rook d7, and we just defend the knight. We move the knight. We take a free pawn. C takes a free pawn. And the rook goes here, and king h7, and she hangs her checkmate in one. Already, the French is paid off. And I actually now do have prep for this. I've started seeing this a little bit more often after the adoption mats. And now I actually do have the prep of, knight to c3, not knight f6, knight c6, and this line with, knight g to e7, and this is how it goes. And after c5, you can probably take this pawn, doesn't matter, and go in and exchange friends. So yeah, very good game, very good fifth game. Let's go to the sixth one. For the sixth game, we have e4, e6. Once again, a friends. Told you, the rest of the speedrun will be a friends defense. c4. I could switch it back to Sicilian, obviously, but no, I'm taking a no-risk approach. d5. We're going for the same stuff again. Steiner variation, e5, and now the correct c5 approach. Now this is the stuff. But you know what? I didn't have my prep. This shitty line with f4. This is not great. It's just not great. You're not really going to fight for the center because my knight is going to do that. And actually, my knight is actually the one doing the damage here. Knight to c6, and after this, you're trying to go fight for the center again. Bishop g4, pinning the knight because the light square bishop in the French is kind of meh. Yeah. Bishop b5, trying to pin me. That was a voice crack, wow. And also I can actually speak in the normal tone, because no more carols. I don't think I know any crazy people that sing Christmas carols at like 12 a.m. And 1 p.m. Also, it's not 12 a.m., it's 12 p.m., my bad. I know some crazies that go and sing Christmas carols at like 3 in the morning, so respect the grind. Queen to b6, attacking the bishop. It's defended once, we attack it again, and finally trades itself. We have the bishop pair. b3 is, wow, I almost vomited. It's definitely not because of the move, trust me. b3 just doesn't make too much sense, because the bishop really gets blocked. There's nothing for it. But I guess it's just kind of uncomfortable the way that Vega has played this. Hasn't, committed the e-pawn, and the bishop is just kind of meh. So yeah, rook c8 and knight to c3. And already it's -2 because of d4. And it is in fact spotted by me, so props to me. Knight to e2, and simply just a winning of a pawn here. And this is what happens when you do bullshit against the friends. You have to punish it. Rook f1, queen to c6, and those f-pawns, that f-pawn is just, just very weak. That h-pawn is weak. The knight goes to g3 and g6. I'm fianchettoing. I'm doing the fianchetto here. And bishop b2, the bishop has no play, and those pawns will never get destroyed. And bishop g7, yes, my bishop doesn't make sense, but your bishop is just worse than mine, because mine can actually do get out via like a reroute and trade itself, but yours will never get into the game. And if you try like a b4 here, well, like here for example, I got b6 straight up, and if you go for this, I don't care. I still lock you down. Like, I don't know. I develop, and if you take, then I take, and if you take again, then I take your bishop. You see how quickly it can fall apart for white here? Queen g4. Okay, we can attack it like once with the knight and reroute to like, I don't know, f5. Or we can go h5 and attack it like this. Queen to g5. And this, friends, was going really well. It's, pretty well, but in the rest of the games, I was kind of multitasking at the same time, and I mouse slipped the king. I didn't mouse slip. I actually did mean to, go king f8 and then go like this. But after bishop a3 and b6 and long castles and, this knight move and knight d6, what I wanted to play here was some like this, going back. I mouse slipped. And yes, you're seeing this correctly. That's a mate in two. A mouse slip pretty much doomed my run. I didn't pick up the rook. I went like this, and I mouse slipped like this by accident, and I blundered the mate in two. And when I saw rook c7 in a millisecond, I was like, "Fuck!" And now all that I had to do with the remaining time was find this check, and I would have to get mated, and she would refresh the run, and there would be no more Raven videos. But Veja plays a move which align the stars together. f5, which threatens the pawn and the checkmate, but pins the queen to the king. And it's -10 because he loses the queen, and after a couple moves later, she just loses that and loses another rook, and she resigns. She had enough. She had enough. She resigned after that. That was a very close run. A mouse slip can doom your run. That's impressive. I wanted this to patrol the back rank and then go like, I don't know, king g8, king h7. But I just mouse slipped. Straight up just mouse slipped. And I made sure to never make that mistake again. Let's go to the 7th game. Alright, for the 7th game, is it the 7th or the 6th? I don't know, I forgot. Maybe the 8th. Anyway, we have another Catalan, surprising to no one. It's a Catalan, and now it's in English according to the computer, but I'm playing Catalan basically. And Veja has played something that resembles a Slav and a King's Indian defense. I don't know. Yeah, we'll just move the knights, the pawns, and the rooks, and all this, all the jazz, and, we'll put the knight back. So try and trade. This trade is okay, but I really don't want to let her get the queen in the game. So a3, we let her do it instead. b6, very patient game so far. Queen to c2. We're out the queen, f5. Now that square looks all the more juicy. And now c takes d5, e takes d5. That square is still very juicy, so we take the knight, she takes the queen, and then we hop the knight back in. So it goes to e7, and we go queen a4, attacking the free pawn. That pawn moves. Oh, sorry about that. a5, that pawn moves 2 squares. Queen c2, we go back once again, wasting a little bit of time there, but I'm just poking at some holes. b5, takes a little bit of time here to think, and plays b5. Now, queen to c5, going for the queen trade, because I see he has very low time, and there's still a lot of moves you can think about, so, strategic queen trade. Queen e6, though, so doesn't take it, and now queen to c2, going back. g5 goes crazy. b3, we go crazy on the queen side. G4 going crazy, knight e1, queen e7, and queen c5. Again, another queen trade, but it's not as great. It's gonna probably lead to a very drawy game. Queen e6 once again allows me to get the knight to the game, and that's what happens. And now knight f4. The knight is in a very comfortable outpost square, which will probably never be removed. Queen e7, she blunders a free queen and resigns. Next game. Alright. 8th game. A French defense, Steiner variation, d5, takes e5, the value line, c5, knight f3, knight c6, a3, bishop g4. All this is prep so far. All I'm playing is prep, bishop e2, that's the calm line, as I like to call it. Queen to c7, attacking the pawn, d4, striking at the center, but then we have c takes d4, bishop b5. You don't notice that's a free bishop, and a free knight. But I felt pity, and I, did not take the bishop. Okay, queen takes c6, bishop takes c6, queen takes c6, and now bishop here. Bishop takes f3, we get rid of the knight, queen takes f3, knight e7. All normal stuff so far. It's like she never blundered the bishop or a pawn. Bishop g3, that pawn simply is just kind of weak. b4, attacking the bishop, we slide it all the way to a7. Knight d2. Castles, rook c1, trying to get a little bit of tempo here, but it's pretty good. Rook f2, rook c8, and knight goes here. We hop the rooks like this, and now we're basically giving Vega a question. Do you want to trade and structure my pawns better? Or do you want to attack my rook, which would force me to do this, but then go here, force another rook trade, and if you don't take the rook trade, I'll hop in and attack your queen, and then I will just defend my pawns, double up on the c-file, and dominate the c-file. That's what happened. Surprising to no one. h3, calm little move that hangs a bishop. There's this. And if you take, I win a queen. Surprisingly, I did not see that. It's that b6, which actually is way more brutal because it traps the knight. Yeah, that knight, remember when the knight attacked this rook all the way here? Yeah, that knight ended up getting trapped, and all this rook c3 idea was designed to simply prevent the knight from getting out from here, and then the queen would come and give the final shot and trap the knight like this, with b6 essentially trapping it. And so it does give me one more pawn, and now we do take the knight. She takes a free pawn. We block with the queen. It takes the queen trade, which is surprising. And again, the same tactic is there, because after takes, there's this. I could have spotted that, but I didn't. And rook ac1. Now b5, which is just inaccurate. And we're trying to run her off the clock now. We're not really trying to play normal chess. We trade everything. And she does lose on time. Very good French defense game. I'm pretty much surprised it went this way. It went pretty smooth. There weren't any serious blunders on my part. On her part, there were plenty of blunders. But yeah, I respect the defense being put up with minimal opening study. I respect that. Of course, you can always trade like this. You can trade the queens like this. And I would probably have to force my bishop out like this. And I would force this. And then, I don't know, we would probably have the bishop here. Okay, that's the 8th game. Let's go to the 9th game. All right, Catalan. JK, it's not a Catalan. It's actually a Queen's Gambit accepted. Yeah, Vega made the mistake of accepting a Queen's Gambit while knowing nothing about the Queen's Gambit accepted. This is kind of the lesser played opening at, higher levels, because you just can't control everything. e4, and Vega plays on the very shitty line, which is b5 and a4, and what does he do? He does this, which no one has played this since I learned this opening. Since I learned this opening, no one has gone for the rectangle of double isolated pawns, because it's just stupid. There's no point, there's nothing about it, right? And he does go for the double isolated pawn rectangle. And bishop d7, and I'm just striking here, and that's a free pawn, like straight up. It's like plus point 2.7. It's so bad. And queen takes. I'm getting all the pieces in the game, and I'm taking a free rook as well. Your only move is this. And guess what? I had like another tactic here. I had this to go in the rook like this. It's really bad, but I do settle with queen takes f6, which is still completely winning, because guess what? This structure is destroyed, this counterbalances this, and Vega has no development, and after e5 attacking the knight, and h3 attacking the knight, that knight is trapped. This is what happens when you take the queen's gambit, and you don't know what to do afterwards, and I'm up at knight for a pawn. Unbelievable. Now castles, and rook f1, and I'm simply just consolidating my position. There's nothing wrong with it. We trade pieces if necessary. Bishop h6, getting rid of those sweet, sweet little dark squares. And bishop takes c8, we take the knight, and then we put a rook behind the pawn, then he trades with me. And we go here, and here, we just get everything. Yes, he can take that pawn, but what is he going to do, right? Check. It's like mate, probably, but there's no mate. She does manage to defend herself, and she does manage to slip and take a bit of an advantage from me. And I do eventually have to back out, because I do play a little bit inaccurately here. And after f6, we simply attack this pawn. She pushes it, we defend this one, and this, we take here, and this, and we go back. And takes here, no problem. We blundered the game in one. Actually, we didn't quite blunder the game. We blundered it like crazy. All she had to do was find this check. But rook b3. Why is this a blunder? Because after, I will probably have to just give away my rook. And even then, I would still win on time. Probably would still win on time here, because I'm just way too fast. And I give checks in like unwarranted places. But rook b3, rook takes a7, c2, rook c7, and simply I'm dominating the game here. And yeah, we can take this free pawn. I don't know. I'm mouse slipping, and instead of taking the pawn, I just attacked it. Bishop f4, and this is the move that actually sealed the game. And we win this queen's gambit accepted. Little piece of advice: if you play the queen's gambit accepted, please know what to do. Pass move 2, because you will fumble like crazy, like Vega did on this one. That marks the 9th game. Let's go to the 10th and final. Alright, the opening that gets the shout out of being the opening that adopts Vega is none other than the Catalan, and we have another classic little Catalan. This time we have a pre-move of bishop b4, which is just useless. We go queen b3, and now we have to do this, and a3, and here, and here. And we trade the dark square bishop, we go here, and this is normal stuff. You'll notice that I moved my rook this time here, because there are lines where this pawn could be a potential liability with a pin. There was no danger, but nonetheless, I still moved the rook. And d takes c4, and we have a huge trade. He gives away her bishop here, which is kind of surprising. Rook c8, rook a to c1, castles, knight d2, attacking the pawn, then going here to force the queen and the bishop. This game is going pretty well, I'd say myself. And we get a pawn. We do give a little bit of counterplay away, but my nerves are sky high. She does give a bit of her advantage back, as normal as it would be. Queen c2, e5, and rook d1, attacking the queen, forcing it to move one more time, queen f6, and now b5 is the move that is the top engine move, because you do get some tempo. Queen to c3, rook e8, and now b4, which is the same thing. You get a lot of tempi. And a takes, knight a4, queen a3, and this, and now with a rook infiltrates and is ready to win that pawn. Queen d3, attacking the thing, and here attacking that thing, and here we take the knight, and we take the pawn, and we take another pawn. And rook a8. This is the sneaky little idea the Vega had planned. So, for example, if I just, kept going with my plan, there will be a mate in 2 because of this. Surprisingly, I saw that. And there are 2 ways to stop this. There's this, but I also played this. So I try to go for it again, but I went queen f1 and queen g4, and I could play this, go into this endgame, and here. No, I wanted to end this game with a bang, and I saw the Vega had accepted the game with no increment. Well, she was the one to send the game, actually. She didn't accept it. She was the one to send a 3-minute game with 0 increment, and her time was running very, 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 very low. And instead of playing that, I play b5 and blunder my queen in one move via to the spin. This is what I like to do in these adoption matches when they have really, really low time, to give them a little bit of happiness, and then getting all that happiness taken away with a simple timeout. So that's what I did. I blundered my queen, give a check, And then I went here, trade my queen that way, and then I simply defended everything. I went cocoon mode, and I defended literally every single piece that I had. F4, this is completely losing, but guess what? Very lost in time here. See, it wasn't fast enough. Wasn't fast enough, and so lost in time. And C is my 5th chess child, next to Siri, Kulbasar, Anfir, the Chess Crusader. I think these are the ones. So that's how I adopted Vegelin, an up-and-coming Twitch streamer. And I hate to say this, cat girl. I don't say that word that often, but yeah. Huge respect to her. Goes up to your channel. Goes up to my child, I should say. I have been officially giving bragging rights to Bully, but yeah, in a friendly way, not in it's just kind of it's kind of just making fun, just joking around with it. When I told her she got adopted, she was like, yeah, that's what she said, really. Anyway, that was the game. Again, shout out to the person that got adopted, and shout out to me for having 5 chess children. I'll see you guys next one. Take care.